Hello my friends, so I welcome all of you 102,000 star seeds, light workers and wanderers to this session. In today's session, I have channeled the Galactic Federation in order to ask about 3 questions in particular. So the first question is about what are crystals and their usage, and what is the best crystal for ascension? So this has been covered in the session, and not only that, the Galactic Federation also tell us the various usage of crystals, how we can use it, and also how they were used in Atlantis. So they tell us an example of that, and also they tell us about what are the 2 habits that are keeping us stuck in the reincarnation cycle. So I received this question, and someone sent me this question. They wanted to know, why do people keep on reincarnating again and again? What are the top habits, right? So this I found to be really interesting, so I've asked about this, and they have explained the 2 habits which primarily keep entities stuck reincarnating again and again. And if we are able to let go of that, we will find ourselves being liberated from this reincarnation loop, and we will ascend into higher levels of consciousness. And then the final query is a simple method which we can use for enlightenment. So this method is absolutely mind-blowing. It is amazing, and towards the end of the session I'll explain to you how to use it. When you listen to the session, you will also understand it, but for clear understanding, I will explain to you towards the end of the session. And with that being said, I just want to say thank you to all of you for liking the video, because the algorithm, it will help the algorithm to reach out to other star seeds, light workers and wanderers. And with that being said, enjoy the session, my friends.
We are the Galactic Federation, and we greet you now in the light and the love of the One Infinite Creator. We shall now communicate from our location in the Saturn planetary sphere, as our base of operations is present, wherein we are always trying to enable in the protection of the galactic system of the Milky Way galaxy, along with the protection of all planetary spheres. However, our communication today is occurring through a portal which has opened within this instrument's vibratory mind complex through the silence that allows it to commune with us. We would recommend the use of inner discernment at this time when listening and pondering to our thought forms. We shall now address the queries that are in order. The first query relates with the aspects of what are crystals and their usage in ascension. In this regard, we shall now address primarily that the so-called crystals as known by your people are the so-called later first density consciousness materials, entities who are ready for graduating into the vibrations of not just the second density, but also these crystals have the ability of transcending space-time continuum and projecting into the 4th density consciousness or higher. Vibratory rhythms are matching. This means that a crystal is capable of transcending the barriers of the cycle of evolution by becoming crystallized to such an extent that Their vibration reaches not just into the second density, but also, if they are able to stabilize in a certain vibration such as love or the vibration of self-awareness, they can graduate directly into the third density or the fourth density or even higher. However, this is a rare occurrence that a crystal crystallizes into the fourth or fifth density directly without having to experience a second and third density, since the experiences of second and third density are required to allow it to handle the aspects of awareness, growth, and self-awareness, which are the primary lessons of the aspects of second and third density evolutionary cycle. Furthermore, we must state that the crystals as found upon the planetary sphere have the ability of absorbing vibrations, which means that if an entity is desirous of using a crystal as a vibratory tool, it can firstly take a crystal which may be of any kind, since all crystals have undergone the process of refining their structure. And in such a crystal, through the process of visualization and through the process of imagining, love can be sent to the crystal, and once the vibration of love is sent to the crystal, it can act as a type of storage device wherein any emotional state can be stored. And this crystal, once infused with a vibration, will retain it for a period of time ranging from the diurnal cycle of 15 days in your space-time continuum, thereby protecting the so-called user or the mind-body-spirit complex that places the crystal near its location. Furthermore, this is one of the uses. In other usages, we have also seen that crystals also have the ability of being used by negatively polarized entities to spread the vibrations which are not of a positive nature, such as the vibration of fear, can also be implanted within a crystal structure. Since it is a absorption system, it can absorb and remember the emotional state for a continuous period of time, thereby affecting the entire planetary sphere, as well as the location in which it is found in. Therefore, we shall now also explain the other aspects regarding the crystals as found on your planet. The crystalline structures and materials, they have many abilities, such as handling vibration, stress, and pressures of your planet. These crystalline structures also have the ability of allowing healing and the balancing of the human mind-body-spirit complex if the vibration of love and healing energies are stored upon it. Furthermore, these crystals also have the ability of using the concept of resonance, and when entities who are of a similar vibration merge and meet together with a crystal of a similar vibratory resonance, the amplification of their resonance is of a magnitude to that of 7 raised to 7 in the consciousness scale, which leads to a higher jump in the effectiveness of an entity's resonance of conscious vibration. Furthermore, these crystals, as we can sense, have been used by the people of your planet in many of the aspects of your so-called societal complex, such as for electromagnetic currents and the purpose of so-called healings and scientific studies of your planetary scientists. We, the Galactic Federation, shall now also address the other aspects related with the understanding of which is the best crystal for ascension. Upon scanning this vibration, we must now state that in the Earth planetary sphere, since ascension is a part and parcel of the process of evolution of a certain entity into greater self-awareness and understanding, and the recognition of the lessons to be learned, we must state that this is the reason why the crystals as known by your people are not required for ascension. Crystals, as known by your people, can only act as an aid or a tool, as we have stated above, in the assistance of ascension, but not as a primary tool to be dependent upon, as the ascension can be found within each mind-body-spirit complex. In each moment of self-awareness, ascension begins. Furthermore, we shall now address a type of distortion known as an example of the crystals which were used in the ancient city as known by your people as Atlantis around a period of 14,000 years ago. There were two mind-body-spirit consciousness of Atlantean social memory complex who had vastly different belief systems about crystals. One was an entity named as Aaron, who primarily spent its timeline as a so-called fish hunter, and it never had given thought to the power of crystals, whereas the other entity was an older entity named as Kyle, who spent most of its timeline in meditation alongside crystals as its sole focus. The entity known as Kyle believed that the crystals helped the seekers to ascension and enlightenment. It spent much of its space and time moments in their presence, using them to connect with the spiritual realm and unlock the secrets of the universal complex. Its life was consumed by its quest for spiritual growth, and it looked down upon those who did not share this belief in the power of the crystals. On the other hand, the other entity, Aaron, lived a simple life. It lived as a so-called fisherman in the nearby waters and spent its free time with its family and friends. It had the power of the so-called crystals, but had never felt compelled to seek them out. Furthermore, one day, as it was out on its so-called workday, it was caught in a fierce water storm. The waves tossed its boat around, and it feared for its life. In a moment of desperation, Aaron called out to the universe for assistance. Suddenly, it felt a powerful energy coursing through its body, and it saw a bright light emanating from its chest area. To his amazement, it realized that it was crystallizing. As the storm subsided, the entity known as Aaron found itself transformed It felt an inner peace and clarity that it had never experienced before. It realized that the power it had called upon was within it all along, and it no longer felt the need to rely on external sources such as crystals to connect with the universe. Kyle, however, continued its quest for spiritual growth through its use of crystals. Despite its many years of study and meditation, it remained stuck in the beliefs and could not attain enlightenment it sought. In the end, it was Aaron, the simple fisherman, who found the true path of ascension. It discovered that the power of the universe resided within itself, and that it had the ability to access it any time. It continued to live a simple life, but now with a deeper sense of purpose and connection to the world around itself. Therefore, we, the Galactic Federation, must state that crystals can only assist in ascension and are not to be made the sole focus of ascension. The other query presented pertains to what are the two habits that keep entities stuck in an incarnation cycle. We must state that, firstly, to understand the concept as requested by this instrument as the incarnation cycle or the incarnation group is found within various of the Earth's entities and spiritual systems, the so-called idea that after crossing over a spiritual complex of consciousness is reborn into a new bodily vehicle, and this process repeats over and over again until the soul achieves ascension or enlightenment or spiritual liberation. We must state that we, the Galactic Federation, upon scanning the behavior patterns of the Earth planet, we find that there are two habits of behaviors that keep entities stuck in the cycle of reincarnation, keeping them incarnating again and again. Firstly, the first is the attachment to, which refers to strong emotional and mental bonds that mind, body, and spirit complexes form with other entities, things, and experiences during their life cycle. These attachments can be of a positive nature, such as the vibration of love for family and friends, or negative vibrations such as anger or resentment towards someone or other entities. When an entity crosses over with strong attachments and emotions, it may be drawn back into the physical life and physical incarnation to fulfill or continue these attachments, thus repeating the cycle of reincarnation. Furthermore, the other is karma, as known by your people, which is the law of cause and effect, which states that every action has a consequence, either positive or negative. When an entity accumulates negative karma through harmful thoughts, words, or actions, it creates a so-called karmic debt that must be repaid within the current or the future timeline lives. This karmic debt can manifest as suffering in less or difficult life circumstances in the current incarnation or in the next incarnation. Thus, unless the karmic attachments and unless there is a balance of karmic energies, this will continue into the next cycle of reincarnation. Furthermore, the releasing of karma is through the process of forgiveness and breaking free from thoughts of attachment and thoughts of seeking the self. In the actions of thoughts, By cultivating actions of selfless actions and thoughts of service to others, a karmic balance can be achieved. The final query relates with a simple method for enlightenment. We as the Galactic Federation must now see that there is but one method which can lead entities to become enlightened in this timeline, and this method is simply to choose to use consciousness as a vibration tool to vibrate it, which means that consider the movements from side to side within yourself inside your mind complex. If you pay attention to the consciousness, it is always moving from one location to the other, from one thought, from one image, from one word to another. Furthermore, these movements can be put under control, and a consciousness rhythm can be established. Firstly, a slow rhythm from side to side can be found, and then a faster rhythm from side to side would lead to a entry into the higher vibration, and a even faster rhythm will lead to a entry into the highest level of vibration that can be achieved through the consciousness system, that of the vibration of peace and enlightenment. For the application of this method, we would suggest the entities who desire to use this method of dancing with the Creator's presence to firstly focus on the spiritual complex at an 90-degree angle from the bodily complex inside the mind complex, and there will be a sense of a white light which is the presence of the consciousness. This white light can then be moved from side to side, and this movement must be paid attention to. As the paying of attention to this movement continues, the movement can be increased to make it faster and faster, thereby the vibration of the consciousness increases higher and higher. If this continues, the entity will reach the stage of enlightenment. Thereby, we the Galactic Federation now leave you, beloveds, in light and love. Bye.
So basically, let me share with you what I learned in the session. The session is absolutely amazing. It basically covers about what are the usage of crystals. And one of the fascinating things that I learned is that crystals can actually be used as a storage, as a storage of energy. So you can store energy in a crystal. Let's just say you want to store positive energy or love. You can send love to a crystal, and then you can keep it in a certain location. It will hold energy for at least 15 days. That's what they said. And the other thing that I found fascinating is that they said that crystals are actually like later first density entities, and because their vibration is so high, they can actually like directly ascend into fourth, third density or even higher. But it's very rare that they do that. And the thing is, like I learned from the session is that one of the most important things is that we should not depend solely upon crystals for ascension, because they said, the Galactic Federation said that ascension doesn't require actually crystals, but you can use them as a tool to help you, okay? But not as a soul. You cannot depend on them solely for ascension, because ascension is by the self-awareness, learning many methods. We can apply them. We don't actually need crystals, but they can act as a tool. They can assist us, right? And then the other thing that I learned is the story of Atlantis actually is a great example of why, we should not depend on something outside ourselves, such as crystals, for liberation or for enlightenment. Because enlightenment is found within ourselves, and that's a great example. And the other thing I learned in the session is that what they have said is basically about the crystals, that they have this kind of like property, which can allow for healing. By storing healing energies in the crystal, you can allow healing to occur. And then the other query which was asked in the session was primarily related with what are the 2 habits that keep us stuck in reincarnation. So the 2 habits that I discovered are, firstly, is too much attachment. So if you're attached with the outside world, if you're attached with our possessions, with our relationships, with our family members, if we are too attached with that, seems like souls, they tend to reincarnate again, to experience that again. So we need to let go of attachment. That's a great suggestion made in the session. And the other one, what they've said is about karma. We need to balance our karmic energy, because if our karma is imbalanced, we will have to reincarnate again. And we already know that karma can be balanced through forgiveness. So by application of forgiveness, we can balance karma, and by doing service to others, karma will be balanced. And the final method that they have described is about a simple method for enlightenment, which is absolutely amazing. So basically what the Galactic Federation said is we can actually vibrate our consciousness or move our consciousness, like the more faster we move our consciousness from one side to side, the more higher we vibrate in ascension. So you can even try this by focusing within yourself, in your mind. What they've said is to focus at a 90-degree angle. So your body is here, you just focus at a 90-degree angle as if your focus is on this side. So over here, you can see that there is a white light, and you can take this white light and you can move it side to side. So as you keep on moving it, as you increase the speed side to side, you feel this energy shifting within you as if you're ascending higher. So if you do this method, what they've said is you can even do this while your eyes are open, like I'm doing right now. And you can feel the energy vibrations shifting higher and higher, and then you'll reach the highest level. And I think this will have an effect on your consciousness. And if you do this, you'll be enlightened. That's what they have said. And thank you so much for watching the video. And also I want to say thank you to all of you for joining me on my Patreon, because we have a meditation which is coming up, and we also share certain sessions which are not allowed to be shared on YouTube. And also thank you to all of you for asking for your soul's identity, soul's purpose, and your past life, or any other questions you may have, including a soul name. If you want to find that out, you can email me and I will help you out when I get free time. And the other one is, I want to say thank you to all of you for getting the book version of my channel sessions, if you want to read in a book format. And if you want to read it for free, you can also get it in a PDF format. The link is on the description. So thank you so much, my friends, and until next time, I hope you'll enjoy this video over here.